Hi there, my name is Sarah Castle and I am in the foundational courses for my single subject credential in art. And tonight I had the pleasure of attending a Kern High School District School Board meeting. So this video is going to just sum up my takeaways from the meeting tonight and what I learned about the Kern High School District Board of Trustees in the process. So just to start, the Kern High School District is a district located in Kern County, California, at the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley, and the central office is located in Bakersfield. The Kern High School District is California's largest 9 through 12 high school district, which I did not know until tonight. I think that's really interesting. There are 18 high schools in the Kern High School District, and 38,000 students are served. There are in total 5 elected board members. The board president is J. Brian Beatty, and the 4 other elected board members are the vice president, which is Philip Peters, the clerk, Jeff Flores, the clerk pro tem, Joey O'Connell, and board member Mike Williams. All of these board members were present at tonight's meeting, and the Board of Trustees meets 12 times a year, so usually once in every month, and it's usually the first Monday of the month. The Board of Trustees play a very crucial role. They are somewhat of a link between the school district and the public. So they are elected officials that speak for citizens and parents and taxpayers, and they speak to the school district administrators, and then in turn they also go back to the taxpayers, the citizens, and they speak to represent the school administration and the students. The Board of Trustees is not responsible for the day-to-day operation of the school district, but they do play a crucial role in the communication that they give between those two entities, as I spoke before. So really the school board is helping be the voice for the public in setting the policies that the district follows, and to also hold the chief executive of the district, which is the superintendent, accountable for those policies. This also means that anyone in the community who wants to expose an issue or speak on an issue to the board is more than welcome to do so. There is a time allotted during each board meeting for the public to address the Board of Trustees, but they have to they need their item to be put on the agenda ahead of time, and they can either do that by filing a concern, or at the beginning of the meeting there are papers that can be filled out that will be presented to the board and then addressed during the meeting on the night of. When I entered the meeting, it was a very welcoming, open room. There were probably about 20-30 people there from the community, and the conversations that I heard in the room were very much related to the school system. Some people were talking about issues that were addressed later on in the meeting, which I will get into in a moment. But the first thing that I noticed when I walked in is that there was a table set up with all of the printed board agendas available for anyone who was there, and there was also a stack of those individual requests to address the Board of Trustees. So they were little cards that could be filled out, and then that night your issue, if you filled out that card, would be given to the board. As far as the actual presentation of the meeting, it very much went along the printed agenda that I was talking about that was given to all of the attendees. We began with a flag salute and then went through all of the items, all of the action items here. So some things that I wrote notes about because they were particularly interesting to me were some presentations from community members. So in more general terms, there were announcements that were presented to the board that had to do with teacher appreciation, upcoming events, graduation ceremonies, and it became really apparent to me quickly that the board meeting is also just it's a platform for the community to share information openly and directly to the board. So one of the presenters from the community was Ray Scott, who is speaking on behalf of Keep California Beautiful, and they recently on Earth Day had a very big annual event that they hold through in partnership with the Kern High School District, which is the Green Expo. And what Ray Scott was presenting on was just the success that he's had with collaborating with Kern High School District teachers for this event. And specifically, he was giving credit to the art teachers for the increasing palpable creativity that is being seen in Kern High School students. And he also mentioned that Golden Valley High School took 10 of the 18 awards at the Green Expo, and that a student, Kylie Hunter, who has a continuing presentation of large-scale welded metal sculpture, she won a scholarship 2 years in a row, so this was her second year for that. He also highlighted the recent recycling drives that were happening in March at different schools, and he had 2 teachers from Arvin High School come up because they, in their work at Kern High School, at Arvin High School with the cafeteria, they have made new policies requiring that all of the plates for the cafeteria are cardboard so that they're recyclable, and the overall weight of material that was reverted through this recycling event had Arvin High School placed 3rd in the state. So that's really, really impressive. And that also amounts to $3,000 a year saved in waste reduction. So I thought that was really encouraging, and I also thought it was really interesting that this was a representative presenting this to the board, and that obviously the board was being educated by someone sharing this information, so that now the board can go on and, as I spoke of earlier, be that link between the community and the district and share this with administration. There was also a division report from the assistant superintendent that I thought was really interesting. It was a presentation on the homeless and foster youth programs in the Kern High School District, particularly a program that is YES, acronym YES, standing for Youth Empowering Success. And there were some statistics in the presentation that I found really surprising and interesting. In addition to defining what homelessness is, it also presented a chart of which schools in the Kern High School District have the highest rates of homelessness, and Bakersfield High School, North High School, and West High School were at the top of the list. So it was really interesting to hear about what programs are being utilized to assist those students and how successful they have been in the last year. One last item that I found to be particularly interesting was presented by Michael Zolfa, the Associate Superintendent of Kern High School District, declaring a need for fully qualified educators because there is such a high demand, and the availability of fully qualified credentialed teachers in the Kern High School District is very low. So they are now implementing a public declaration of a need for fully qualified educators. Overall, I found my experience of tonight's board meeting to be really eye-opening and beneficial and something that I'm sure that I will participate in again. And I also found it really encouraging that even if you had not filed a request to address the board ahead of time, there was still an opportunity to do that the night of on site. Fill out a card beforehand, and there's a great chance that your concern is going to be addressed publicly right then and there. So I thought that the overall format of the meeting was really organized, and it seemed like there was a lot of room for elaboration if need be. And I also thought it was great that the energy of the audience was so friendly, and that you could tell people were there because they wanted to be there. And through this process, I feel like I have a better, more hands-on idea of what the board does and why the board is necessary. So I am happy to have had the experience.